Hello everybody and welcome to 10 minutes learning from EduCounts. In this video we're going to learn how do we adding polynomials and subtracting polynomials using different methods like the vertical method and the horizontal method. So let's get started and dive in and try to break it down. Before getting started with the addition or subtraction, we need to understand that we have a property called the closure property. This property means that in simple words that if we would like to apply any operation in a set. So doesn't matter what number of elements that we're going to use in from this set. So the result of the operation should be belong to the same set. To understand what I'm talking about here, if we use the set of the whole number. So we have here 5 is a whole number and 4 is a whole number. So we can simply notice that once we apply addition, so their sum would be a whole number. So we can simply say that the whole number is closed under addition property or under addition operation. On the other hand, if we use the same numbers like 4 and 5 and we try to subtract them together, so we can simply notice that 4 minus 5 is equal -1. And since -1 does not belong to the whole numbers, so we can simply say that the whole numbers is not closed under the subtraction. So this is the meaning of the closure property, because here we have a statement that says that the set of the numbers or the set of polynomials is closed under the addition and subtraction. What does it mean? That means the sum of any two polynomials should be a polynomial, and the difference between any two polynomials should be a polynomial as well. So let's get started and understand how do we add polynomials first. We have several ways to find the sum of any two polynomials. One of the methods is the vertical method, which I preferred. So in the vertical method, we need to write the first polynomial and right below it the second polynomial. But before writing them, we need to ensure that they are written in the standard form. And the standard form means that the exponents are written in descending order. So look at the example that we have here. We have 2x cubic minus 5x squared plus x. This is the first polynomial here. And in the second polynomial, we have 2x squared plus x cubic, then minus 1. So if we look at the first polynomial that we have, we can simply notice that this polynomial written in the standard form, but we have one term is missing, which is the constant term. So what I'm going to do here right now is writing the first polynomial by writing it first, which is 2x cubic, then minus 5x squared, then plus x. And we can simply notice that there is no constants here, so we can add 0 or we can keep it like that. So it's up to you, but I prefer to add 0 here. So it's going to be written here 0 as a constant since we don't have any constants there. So for the second polynomial, we have 2x squared, then plus x cubic, then minus 1. We can simply notice that this polynomial does not written in the standard form. So we need to write this polynomial in the standard form by writing the highest exponent first. So I'm going to say here we have x cubic first, should be written first. Then we have plus 2x squared. Since we don't have here any terms from the first degree, I'm going to see here we have 0, then plus the constant part, which is -1. So I'm going to erase the plus sign and write -1. The next step is try to find the sum of any two terms from the same degree or the same exponent that have the same exponent together. But we need to remember that if we have any variable without any number before it or without any coefficient, that means our coefficient is a hidden coefficient, which is 1. So we can simply here write 1 to remember that we have 1 here, and we can simply here write 1 to remember that we have 1 over there. So let's get starting by adding the 2x cubic and 1x cubic. The process of addition, it says that we need to write the variable, which is x cubic, and then add the coefficients together. So the coefficients here, we have 2 and plus 1, so this would be 3. So we are done here. In the second part, we can notice that we have -5 and plus 2. So we need to write first the variable, which is x squared. Then we have -5 and plus 2. So this would be -3. In the third part, we have 1x plus 0. So this would be the same 1x. So I'm going to write 1x over there. And finally, we have the constant part, which says that we have 0 and -1. So we're going to be left with -1. And as I mentioned before, the polynomial set or the polynomials set is closer under the addition. So if we have the first part or the first thing is polynomial and the second part is a polynomial, we can simply notice that our sum is polynomial as well. In the second example to the right, we are going to follow the same steps by writing the first polynomial, which is 3x squared plus x minus 6. So, and we can simply notice that this polynomial written in the standard form. So I'm going to write here 3x squared plus x, then minus 6. The second step, we need to write the second polynomial, but we need to ensure that it's written in the standard form. And we can simply notice that it's already written in the standard form. So I'm going to write here x squared, then plus 4x, then plus 10. And then we need to find the sum of all the terms together. But remember, if you don't have any coefficient, remember that you have the hidden coefficient, which is 1. So we should add 1 here to remember that we have 1 before any variable. So I'm going to start by adding the x squared terms together. So I'm going to write x squared, then add the coefficients together. So 3 plus 1, which is equal 4. And we are done here. And then for the second part, which is the first degree monomial, so I'm going to write x here and then add the coefficients together. So it's 1 plus 4, which is equal 5. And finally, we're going to add the constant section or the constant parts together. So we have negative 6 and plus 10. So this is would be positive 4. And we are done here. The polynomials is closed under the subtraction as well. So that means if we would like to find the difference between any two polynomials, so the our sum or sorry, our difference would be a polynomial as well. So we're gonna follow the same steps like addition, but we're gonna do one step more or one step further, which is we need to write the first part in our process. So I'm gonna write here 4n squared, and we can simply notice that this one is written in the standard form, but we don't have any terms with from the first degree. So I'm gonna add here 0n. I'm gonna keep writing the terms, the other terms. We have 5 as a constant. Okay, so this is for the first polynomial. Oh, the second polynomial. The second polynomial, before writing the second polynomial, we need to change all the signs. So since we have here the first term is negative, so I'm gonna make it positive. So this one would be 2n squared. Okay, and then we have here plus 2n, so I'm going to make it negative, so this one would be 2n. And finally we have negative 4, I'm going to make it positive, so it's going to be 4. And the purpose of doing this is we have here a negative sign. This negative sign is the same as we have negative 1 multiplying by this polynomial. So once you multiply any term by a negative sign, so every single term will change its sign. So instead of adding subtraction, or instead of subtracting the two polynomials together, since I already replaced the signs or I changed them, so I'm going to add them together. So I'm going to add the n squared terms. So I'm going to write n squared, then add the coefficient. So we have 4 plus 2, this is would be 6. And then we have 0n plus negative 2n. So it seems like we have negative 2n, and then we have plus 5 and plus 4, this is would be positive 9. And this is the easiest way to subtract any polynomials without confusion and without doing any mistakes. In the second example here, we have 4x squared minus 3x plus 5. So I'm going to write the first polynomial, which is 4x squared minus 3x, then plus 5. And for the second polynomial, instead of writing the polynomial, I'm going to write the same polynomial, but I will change the sign of each term. So this is positive 3x squared. It would be negative 3x squared. And for the negative x, this is would be positive x, and this is negative 8, this is would be positive 8. So instead of subtracting this, I'm going to add them together. But remember, if you have any variable without coefficient, that means you have one or invisible one as coefficient. So I'm going to add the terms together. So I'm going to write here x squared, then add the coefficients together. We have 4 plus negative 3, so this is would be 1, and there is no need to write 1 since it's going to be here a hidden coefficient. On the other hand, we have negative 3 and plus 1x. I need to write the x first. Then we have negative 3 plus 1. This is exactly negative 2. And then we have 5 plus 8, which is 13. And you are done. And you can simply notice that the difference between any two polynomials is polynomial as well, which means that the set of polynomials is closed under the subtraction operation. One of the applications of adding and subtracting polynomials is using them to express the area or the perimeter of any specific polygon. So for example, in this figure here, we are given that find the perimeter of the rectangle. So the first step we need to remember, how do you find the perimeter of any rectangle? So the perimeter of any rectangle, so to find the perimeter, we need to find the formula of finding the perimeter, which is, says that we need to add the length and the width together and then multiply this by 2. Since we have here two lengths, they are congruent, and here we have two widths are congruent. So this is the formula of finding the perimeter of rectangle. So how do you apply the addition and subtraction or whatever it is in this formula? So to find the perimeter, all what I have to do is just write 2 and then try to find the sum of those two sides. So I'm gonna try to find the sum of first of all, I need to find the sum of 3x minus 1. Okay, so this is my first polynomial plus the second side or the second length or the width, which is x plus 1. You can find this first. You can find the sum of these two polynomials together first by writing them vertically, like 3x minus 1 here plus x plus 1. And we need to remember that any variable without coefficient, that means we have a hidden coefficient. So we need to write x here and then add the coefficients together. So we have 3 plus 1, which is equal 4x. And then we have negative 1 and positive 1. So we can cross them together. So we're going to be left with 4x. So the sum of the two sides is equal 4x. So we need to multiply this by 2. So how do you multiply this? We need just to multiply the 2 by the coefficient of this variable. So this is would be 8x. So this is how do we express the perimeter of this rectangle. How do you find the perimeter exactly? If you know the value of the x, we can simply find the perimeter of this rectangle. So this is how do we add polynomials and subtract them together. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching this video and see you next one.